Right now on Tech Radio, our top 3 tech moments of 23.
Hi, I'm Artemis. I am a computer-generated AI voice, and you're listening to Tech Radio.
Every week online and on air with RT Radio, we bring you the very latest in tech. Our show this week brought to you in association with FIT.ie, a fast track into information technology, FIT, apprenticeship program, which we'll tell you a little bit more about at the end of the show. For now, you're welcome to a bonus episode. It's episode 999 part 2, because we ran out of time last week talking about the top tech stories of the year. So we're about to get into the top 3. And then, of course, because this is episode 999, it means that our next episode, starting off in January, is our landmark episode number 1000. We definitely have something special lined up for you, but we'll have a chat about that later. But first, this week, let's get into the top 3 tech stories of the year.
This is Tech Radio with Dusty Rhodes and Niall Kitson.
Niall Kitson joining me as always. A very interesting list, including Elizabeth Holmes. We had Irish Space, GDPR, Elon Musk, who is boring us pretty much during the year. Digital Markets Act, digital services. We had a little chat about Apple, and then Gardaí and facial recognition, all that kind of stuff, which brings us up to the top 3. Okay. And I would say that I'm dying to find out who's number 1, because I know AI is not number 1, right? I'm amazed that I think if you had to mention one name and associated with the year 2023, I think it's this guy at number 3. Who is it?
Let's see.
You know who it is. You drama queen.
Yeah, okay. It's somebody that we would not have been able to pick out in a lineup last year.
Yes.
And I think, to be honest, and it's almost a terrible thing to say, a lot of people still, even having read about the man, would not be able to pick him out.
I don't think so. But they will know the name, I think.
I think so. So a gentleman by the name of Sam Altman, who is the CEO and co-founder of OpenAI, or rather, he was the CEO, co-founder of OpenAI, but previous CEO of OpenAI, because there was a little gap in the middle there when he wasn't. And that's the story we're talking about.
Mr. Altman, can you explain this gap of a week?
Yeah.
You weren't in your CEO position.
There's a gap in your CV, sir. We would like to talk about it.
He has been working with OpenAI and AI for like years and developing it. And then it just went into the wild for whatever reason. All right. Because they weren't like working, kind of under a dark cloud or anything like that. But for whatever reason, when they released ChatGPT, which was version 3.5, and it was kind of put out into the world, I think it was the start of December, very late November, start of December. I remember it was the first week in December I heard of it last year. All right. It just clicked. It was just one of those things that went viral. All right. And by the time we were kind of getting into January, it was really starting to explode globally, and it has just taken over everything, I think, for 2023, because everybody's talking about ChatGPT, everybody's talking about AI is going to change the world, blah 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 blah, and then the man behind it is Sam Altman. So that's great. So he becomes one of the tech giants of the year. All right. And then what was it, November? I think it was November. All of a sudden there's a board meeting, and what happens?
He gets fired for apparently not being transparent with the board in his communications, which could mean anything. Now, OpenAI was founded as a non-profit, okay? And its mission statement was to develop AI for the betterment of humanity. Okay, wonderful, blue sky thinking. Let's do AI, let's do it right, let's be ethical. Then it accepts, what was it, 10 billion, 12 billion in investment from Microsoft. And all of a sudden you have this discussion that, okay, well, you're getting commercial investment. Does this mean that companies are going to want to expect to see a return? on their investment? The answer is, of course. And what would that look like? Would it be better feature set in somebody's product? Could well be. We know in Microsoft's case it certainly is. But what if you wanted to do something else and you accept investment in good faith, and the technology you develop gets on to be used in a pretty unethical way? So this is the problem OpenAI faced. Its board seemed to think at one point that Sam Altman was acting against its mission statement and let him go. And everybody agreed this was a great idea.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Actually, do you know what? I think that the story was really dramatic. I'm sure they'll make a movie out of it at some stage or whatever. So Sam Altman was let go and the staff were not happy. The staff were not happy at all. And I have never seen this before where there's, 700, 800 employees or something at thing. Yeah. 700 of them signed a letter saying that if he is not reinstated as CEO, they quit. Now, can you imagine being the board? Okay, for whatever reason, he's gone. And then your entire workforce sends you a letter going, if he goes, we go.
Yeah. And you also had companies like Salesforce saying, well, if you worked in OpenAI, you can come work for us and we'll pay you a little signing bonus.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Yeah.
So this story is interesting, not just because of the musical chairs, right? Because, we'll go into what happened next kind of a thing. But it is the rare example of people power in the tech sector.
Exactly.
Actually
in any sector.
Accomplishing anything.
Yeah. It's people power in any sector. If enough people get up, they will make the rule makers change the rules. That's why we have marches against wars and, all kinds of things.
And water charges and such like.
Trying to do 100 different things going through my head. But anyway, that's why we have those things. But that was a very dramatic example. So I thought the reason why we have them at number 3 is because the technology literally swept and changed our technological world in 2003. And then towards the end of the year, all of that drama, it's like they did what?
Yeah.
He's going where?
So, and
the staff
it wasn't
did what?
just.
He's coming back.
Yeah, it wasn't just the staff that were annoyed. Of course, Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, was enraged and said, okay, look, if you worked in OpenAI, come work for Microsoft. Mr. Altman, you and your team can come over here and we will have a special AI projects unit and you can head it up. Basically, lift and shift OpenAI into Microsoft. Then, Mr. Altman was invited back by the board. I think the board was reconstituted. Come back. All is forgiven. We were wrong. We'll get new people in charge that won't question you. And let's continue as if nothing happened.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with we were wrong. It's if we don't take you back, we're broke. That's why they took him back. But anyways, so listen, that's Sam Altman at number 3. Number 2 kind of leads into that really because it is just AI. I mean, AI has just... Do you know what? We were mentioned in the last episode that we were getting fed up listening to Elon Musk. I'm feeling a little bit tired of talking about AI as well.
Well, you remember last December or January, we had Cara on the show and she said 2023 is going to be the year of AI. And we're a little bit, okay, yeah, fine.
We'll see.
And it has enveloped the tech conversation. You cannot have a conversation without talking about AI. That's it. Yeah, people that don't follow technology have conversations with me about AI. What does it mean? What are we doing with it? Why are we so afraid of it? People have a genuine interest, and not just, what is the application of it, but it's what does it mean for me? Is this going to be bad? Like, am I going to lose my job? is this, weirdos looking at me from their basement? Like, what's all this about? So I think, yep, 2023 has been the year of AI, but also a year where we have been trying to get to grips with potential dangers of AI as well.
That's very true. I think you said one of the dangers that people are immediately thinking is AI going to take my job? And I've spent, certainly a good part of the year going, no, AI will not take your job. I said, it's a tool. But if you don't use it, somebody who is using AI will take your job. So it's kind of like it's something, but it's kind of come into like, at some stage, kind of the world was typing on typewriters. And at some stage, people had to learn how to work computers in this new Word or whatever it was program back at the time.
We ran a survey in association with Storm Technology at the end of last year. And one of the questions we asked was, do you think your business needs AI as a competitive, to give you a competitive advantage? And the majority of people said yes, AI is inevitable. That's fine. Not a huge majority, but a majority. And yet, I think it was the next question. It was like, one of the biggest problems with AI wasn't alleviating stress. It was creating more stress with employees.
Yes, but it's something new and you've got to adapt to it and learn it and how does that, and it's not working, it's not doing what I want and all that kind of stuff. And that is going to cause stress, especially when human beings don't like change, even if it's good change. Do you know what I mean? We just don't like change. We're kind of comfort in our little world and how we know it. And AI has come in and like the one moment I'll never forget, right? Is my wife is not really a technology person, all right? Does whatever she has to do, and that's it. But she was having a problem, and I said, "Why don't you use ChatGPT to help you with that?" And I don't know anything about that. Blah 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 blah. I said, I wouldn't know how to work it. And I look, it's this easy. And I opened up that app, and I said, "Okay, so your problem is blah 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 blah." And I just typed it in, okay. And I said, "Give me an answer." I'm obviously being a bit oversimplifying it. I just hit the return button, and as it was typing up the answer, her jaw literally dropped. I've rarely seen that, where her jaw literally dropped because it was giving her idea after idea after idea that would solve her problem that she needed to do. She's kind of, oh my God. And now all I hear is like her going, I used AI for this. I used AI for that. She's probably using it more than I ever do. But I mean, some of the things that we are using AI for now are just mind-blowing. There's a service called HeyGen on the heygen.ai or .com. It's one of those, whatever. But essentially what it does is we use it for a project, right? Where we're working for a company who have clients all across Europe. So we do the podcast in English, all right? And we do a little video clip in English, all right? Because that's the thing that we work in. But we're missing out on our audience in Germany and Italy and France. And what we use HeyGen is we upload a clip. And HeyGen will take that person's voice and use that person's voice and translate it into German. Okay. So now that person is actually speaking German and it sounds like their voice. Okay. Then it syncs the words to the lip movements, or syncs the lip movements, as you say, to the words. And now it looks like they're talking German.
Wow.
It's the scariest thing I have seen. Now, we've seen this in English, right? Where Leonardo DiCaprio is speaking to the United Nations about blah, blah, and they got him doing different voices, Jack Nicholson and whoever else, right? There was another one with Greta, what's her name?
Greta Thunberg.
Yeah, exactly. And she was also speaking to the United Nations, but she was talking about certain battery-operated equipment that you might find in a boudoir. Which she obviously would never have done, right? But that's all kind of fake AI kind of stuff. But just the fact it can do that. And then the other one we use a transcription service, and that was just AI transcription. That was great, did a brilliant job, all right. But now they've added in further AI, where you can now ask the AI, what was it Niall said about Gardaí and body cams? And it will give me a synopsis of within that podcast or within that meeting or whatever it is of what was said. Or you can say, what were the 3 most important things from this thing? Or, what are the action points? It's like, that is very useful, and I find it very scary, and particularly with the Hey Gen thing, and with all of the stuff like Adobe brought in Firefly, which is and Google did it as well with Google Photos. So essentially generative AI. So Google did a great demonstration where you have a kid sitting on a bench and then there's like half a balloon because they didn't get the full balloon into the shot. And they said, okay, Graham, well, what we do is we tell the AI to generate, as in to imagine what it would look like if it moved the entire photo over a couple of inches so that we can now get in the background and the balloon and the whole thing. And boom, it does that. It's just the fact you can do all that stuff. And what scares me is you cannot believe anything that you see online or hear online or read online. You have to be so, I mean, before we were able to, you believe if you saw something on video.
No. The camera indeed does lie. Well, I mean, the camera doesn't lie, but Photoshop will.
How very true. How very true. So, but I mean, there's been other kind of good developments, bad developments. Google Bard has come out. I've tried it. Microsoft and Copilot built into the OS, into Windows 11. I've tried that as well. And I just think that's ridiculous. Why am I typing into an AI on my computer to help me open Word or Notepad? Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, Copilot, will you open Notepad? And then it goes, would you like me to open the Notepad application? And then I have to go, yes. And then it opens it. It's like, I don't know. The amount of trouble we go to in our home with our smart homes, where you're installing all kinds of switches to turn on light switches or to open the curtains or close the curtains. These are simple tasks. So how much effort does it take for you to walk over to the wall and turn the switch on? Do you know what I mean? No, I've got to wire it in and I've got to buy a $30 or euro light bulb that'll change color and then I can talk to it. But I have to make sure that I say the right phrase, because if I say it slightly wrong, it won't do it. Just replaces going over and going click. So in some ways, I think it's amazing. In some ways, I think it's just darned annoying.
Well, again, it's all about finding the right applications.
Quite true. And we did find the right application, that we found a nice little new phone. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, we sure did.
Humane, and the website, I love the website. It's hu.ma.ne.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you take us through this, because I have to say, when I heard of it, I was like, this sounds very gimmicky. When I saw it, I was like, oh, this might solve a few problems for people. So take us through it.
I think it could. Essentially what it's done is it's taking a smartphone and instead of using a screen as the primary interaction, it's using an AI and voice recognition or voice AI, if you like. So they've been able to squeeze the phone down to the size of a little brooch kind of a size if you want, or a little lapel mic or something like that. That just sits on your jacket pocket or something like that. It looks like a wireless lapel mic, actually, is what it looks like. And basically you can just tap it and you can go, hey, call Niall. And it goes, do you want me to call Niall? And you go, yes, please. And then Niall, and he comes in the headphones. Or you can tap it and you go, hey, send Niall a text and tell him, yeah, I'll be around for, coffee at 11. I'm running a little late. And it'll say, yes, you can do that. That's kind of interesting. You can tap it and you can say, take a picture of what I'm looking at now. And it'll take a picture. I don't know. It's just, I've kind of caught myself on the hop by introducing this in AI. I hadn't planned to, but just the fact that you can talk to the thing, it means that you're living more in the moment. Do you know what I mean? Do you know when you're anywhere at a birthday party, or you see something exciting, or you're at a concert, you've got your phone out most of the time to record it on a video clip that you're never going to watch again. You might share with a few people on social media, but why aren't you just standing there and just enjoying the moment for what it is? And I think it makes computing and communication when you're on the move a little bit more practical rather than taking over your life. It's hard to describe, isn't it?
And that's the thing of the Internet of Things. You've machines talking to machines with no need for a human interface. when the screen is the primary human interface for, our digital lives via our smartphones, if you take that away, how does that change the way we deal with technology, how we interact with technology, how we feel about technology?
Yeah. Yeah. And that humane AI pin is what they call it. Just really kind of brings that into play. It's not available in the EU just yet. Unfortunately, I'd love to try it out and see what it's like. But anyway, I think what we both agreed on, though, was that of all the tech that we had seen during the year, this was something that we went, that's different.
Yeah.
And it was different. Okay, listen, there we go. So AI at number 2. AI at number 2. Sam Altman at number 3. What is going on in the world? Niall Kitson has chosen the... See what I'm doing immediately?
Yeah. Well,
Niall, at number 1, who have we got?
You are right. I mean, hearkening back again to our predictions for 2023, I said the person of the year would be Sam Bankman-Fried.
Mm-hmm.
As it turned out, took a while, but the boy came good in December, November, December time. Sam Bankman-Fried looks like he's going down. Well, I mean, he's been found guilty of 7 federal crimes. So yes, he is indeed going down for possibly more than 100 years. Well, these are federal crimes. So what he's sentenced to, you can forget about good behavior or anything like that. I mean, if he's going to the big house over this, which of course he is, this might be the last we hear of him.
Sam Bankman-Fried, number 1 on our tech stories of 2023, was the man behind possibly the biggest crypto and maybe even biggest fraud of ever in US history.
Yes, biggest crypto, fraud.
Just the biggest fraud ever.
Yeah, forget about what was the guy before? Forget about Bernie Madoff. Sam Bankman-Fried is the new Bernie Madoff. Basically, what he did was he ran the world this huge cryptocurrency exchange called FTX, where people went to buy and sell crypto assets. Very fine, go ahead, do that. He also owned a hedge fund called Alameda Research, which did what hedge funds do, and that's fine. However, he was using money from FTX to run Alameda and also afford him a very lavish lifestyle, including a huge mansion in the Bahamas. And he did a lot of things like funding, donating to politicians. He believed in this this style of responsible capitalism, where you would make your money, but make sure you've given it all away by the time you die, preferably in nice charitable causes and all that sort of thing, ethical capitalism, etc. And unfortunately, it turned out that he was using money from FTX to prop up Alameda. Which guess what? Guess what that constitutes? Yeah, it's our old friend wire fraud. So of the 7 charges he went down for, it was wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud on FTX customers, wire fraud on lenders to Alameda Research, conspiracy to commit wire fraud on Alameda Research lenders, conspiracy to commit securities fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, and wire fraud on lenders to Alameda Research.
My God, that's a long list, and I bet that's a short version. That's a short version of a long list.
Well, I mean, ultimately it came down to a very short list, and he was found guilty in very short order.
Can I ask you, because you have had a very, it appears to me, personal gripe against Sam Bankman-Fried. Every time he comes up, you seem to be like in there, yes, get him, kick him.
Well, I mean, I have no truck with this idea of the great man theory of the founder that predominates in big tech, whether it's Mark Zuckerberg, whether it's Bill Gates, whether it's Elon Musk. I mean, all of these guys have tremendous fan bases attached to them. And it extends well beyond, love your work kind of stuff. It becomes this entire cult of personality. And there's only one person gets away with having a cult of personality in my book, and that's CM Punk. But I think there's about 10 of our listeners will get that reference. I have no problem when a certain arrogant class of tech bro gets brought down to earth. I mean, Bankman-Fried was a 30 under 30 guy, exactly the same as Elizabeth Holmes. I think she was a 30 under 30 as well. Mm-hmm. Both their empires were built on sand. These are important lessons that people take on board, that if you have a big idea, brilliant, but that doesn't make you immune from consequences.
Well, Sam Bankman-Fried, congratulations on being our number one tech story of 2003, but I think it's safe to say that you won't even be close to the top 10 next year. Am I right?
Well, unless he gets like 1 billion years or something like that. Otherwise, he might make number 10 as a footnote. Who knows?
Listen, that is it for our top 10 tech stories of the year. Next week, we have got show number 1000. That's a biggie, Niall. Do you feel old when you say we've done 1,000 of these podcasts?
Oh my goodness. And no mistake. Yeah. I had a lot more hair back then.
We had we started off, I think, as a weekly show, it was a monthly show or something like that, and then it went weekly. I think we did daily at one stage as well.
We did, yeah. We tried lots of different formats.
Anyway, they've all added up, and we are here at episode 1000. We are going to be having some of our best panelists and guests from over the last 15 years or so, and kind of just having a bit of fun with it. You can hear that first week in January, first Friday in January. If you haven't subscribed or followed us already, do so now so that you don't miss it.
This is Tech Radio.
That's it for our Tech Radio show for this week. The show was brought to you by FIT.ie, who are helping over 450 firms across Ireland to find huge success with a tech apprenticeship program which helps grow their tech teams and builds diversity into the workplace, which of course in turn sparks fresh thinking and energy around the building. Financially, the company also gets to avoid high recruitment agency fees, and there are state grants of up to $6,000 a pop for every apprentice that you take on. So it's all good. If you think your company will be interested in freeing up some of your more experienced staff to work on higher end projects and get some fresh energy into the day-to-day tech team, do check out FIT. It's for Fastrack into Information Technology. It's an apprenticeship program. The website is FIT.ie. And of course, you'll find details in the description area of this episode on your podcasting app. As I say, that is it for episode 999, the bonus part. Next week, episode 1000. Talk to you then.
Tech Radio is produced by dustpod.io. From me, Artemis, goodbye.